Planning and Zoning regular meeting for January 8th, 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. I'd like to begin by saluting the flag. Please join me in saluting the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, that's okay. You're done. The next order of business, I'd like to introduce the members of the commission seated here tonight. To my left is a regular member, Ron Sienna. To his left is Barry Ponder, secretary for the commission. Next is, to his left is Paul Marino, an alternate member to the commission. To his left is Chris Peon, a regular member of the commission. And rounding out the rest of the commission tonight is Mary Caruso, an alternate member of the commission. To my right is Janet Crane, our recording secretary. Seated at the administrative table is David Perkins, our town planner. Finally, my name is Robert Nowak. I'll be conducting the chairman for the meeting tonight. Next, I'd like to consider the approval of minutes for two meetings, July 10th, 2025, and last meeting, December 4th. I asked members to consider,
December 11th.
what was what?
11th or 4th?
I have the 11th
in July.
and July 10th. December,
Yeah, okay, you said December 4th. It's like a
December 11th
Okay.
and July 10th.
Okay.
My bad. That's why you're the recording secretary, to make it accurate. Thank you. Okay, so December 11th, it looks like we have all members present for that. And July 10th, we have 3 out of 4, so we're going to proceed with that. So I ask members to take a moment to review the minutes if you haven't already. Let me know if you have any corrections or modifications to those minutes. And when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve them when you are ready. Start with the July 10th meeting when you're ready.
Motion to approve the July 10th meeting?
Second.
So we have a motion by Paul, second by Barry. We have seated for that meeting was Bill, Barry, Chris, and Mary. Myself and Ron and Paul were absent. With that being said, are there any discussion on the meeting minutes? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Aye.
2.
So, yep.
And how about Paul? You weren't there.
Paul abstained. He abstained.
You abstain?
Oh,
So you have 3 abstains. Okay.
Yep.
Wasn't there?
Yeah.
So even though there's 3 abstentions, we weren't here, so 3 out of the 4 members were present, so the motion carries. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
So we have the December minutes now.
we're working on December 11th.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll make the motion to approve those.
Okay, motion by Paul, second by Mary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Who was not here?
I'm sorry?
Who was not here?
Bill was
abstain.
You are?
absent and Barry was absent.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I didn't finish my thought on that. So we have approval. Anybody opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
All right. Motion carries, minutes are approved, finally. All right. Moving on. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing, possible action for application 2025-11, amendment to the zoning regs. So before I begin the public hearing, I'd like to read an opening statement. Purpose of the meeting is to hear all pertinent testimony in support of those in support of and in opposition to the application before the commission. Procedure for the public hearing and to be filed tonight would be applicants going to explain their application. The staff and commission ask questions or comments on the application. General public have an opportunity to speak in support of and opposition to the application in the form of statements or questions. Applicant will have an opportunity to respond to the public comment and provide closing statements. Staff and commission will again have opportunity to comment. When all sides have spoken, the public hearing will be closed. No further public discussion will be entertained. After the public hearing is closed, the commission will vote on the application. Some of the rules for public testimony: when addressing the commission, please speak into the microphone. State your name and address for the record. All comments should be addressed to the commission, not the applicant, be relevant to the application, and should not be of a personal nature. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Once your time has expired, please be respectful of the commission and other members for the public who want to speak. Please avoid repetitive comments. So with that being said, the applicant, would you like to come? Oh, hold on a second. We want to do the public notice?
Please insert the following legal ad in the Sound on Thursday, December 25th, 2025, Thursday, January 1st, 2026. Legal notice. North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission. Notice is hereby given that the North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, January 8th, 2026 at the North Branford Town Hall, 909 Foxen Road, North Branford, Connecticut, to consider the following. A, application number 2025-11, amendment to zoning regulations to revise sections 42.5.1A and 42.5.1D to allow first floor residential uses in the Town Design District 2 and reduce the needed lot size, square footage for each dwelling unit from 20,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet in the B1, B2, and B3 district. Applicant IHH Properties LLC. At this hearing, all interested persons may appear and be heard, and written communications will be received. Copies of proposals are on file for public inspection in the Town Hall Planning Department. Robert Nowak, Chairman.
Thank you, Barry, appreciate it. Okay, now we can have the applicant come up and explain what they want to change in the text amendment.
Hello, my name is Edward Lawton, 1355 Middletown Avenue, Northford. So we are looking to change the regulation from the requirement of having only second and third floor units on the in the business zone, or specifically the Town Design District 2 in Northford specifically, and also reduce the lot size from, it's actually 10,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet. So basically we've seen that, growing up in town, I've always been here my whole life and really appreciate, living here, and it's a great place to live. There is a housing shortage that people, are looking for housing options. We do own 2 other properties on the site that we own that we're looking to do this on. And there's a lot of demand for it. Unfortunately, a lot of people my age, are looking for housing as well, and they're having to go to other towns and kind of, look elsewhere because it's very, very limited on, what you could get in town. So it's really, a challenge that people are facing. And also, we want to include the older generation too, because a lot of people in town are looking to downsize. And good thing about people downsizing is that houses become available for the younger generation, but they could still stay in town, the older generation. So having first floor accessibility would be great. I did notice on one of the opposition letters that they said that, for example, ADA also, there's requirements for that. But I believe it's 4 or 3 units. So if someone was to build multiple buildings of like 3 or 4, they wouldn't have to have those specific requirements. So we did do another building on the property where we did put an elevator in. We have 6 apartments on the 2nd and 3rd floors and 2 commercial storefronts. Commercial storefronts that, have been in town on the North Branford side and Northford side. There's a lot of vacant places in town, so we feel, especially with the way this site is, we're kind of on the edge of the commercial zone, so it would be less traffic because we have the Middletown Avenue side and the Forest Road side, and it's pretty challenging to rent out commercial, especially if there's smaller spaces. I know like the bigger companies need more space, and with the height restrictions and stuff, there also needs to be certain ceiling height. With the current regulations, you could only do, for example, the one we did with 3 floors, we had to do 9-foot ceilings on the first floor, 8-foot ceilings, and then 8-foot ceilings with cathedral on the 3rd, because just of the height restriction is 35 feet. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking to do. Personally, we're looking to have 2 units on the first floor, 2 units on the second floor, 1,500 square foot footprint, all 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom units, including a handicap unit. And then that's pretty much what we're looking to do. And also, I was reading through the opposition, it said that they're going to be cramming in huge apartment complexes in town, but in the Northford Design District specifically, there's really no land available to be building those kind of things. And the current regulation is 4 units per acre, so this would increase it to 7 units per acre. So, for example, the building, I don't know if any of you are familiar with, that we just built is 8 units, 2 are commercial. But the footprint, it really doesn't look like there would be 8 units in that building. It kind of looks like a big house. So on 1 acre of land, just imagine, it's really not that imposing. And we're also trying to make it so we're developing areas that are developed rather than taking farmland or areas in people's neighborhoods and building multifamily houses, which I know a lot of people in town are opposed to that because they don't want 2 or 3 families next to their single family. So if we're doing it in areas that are a little more concentrated, I think that would be beneficial. So that's about it.
Dave, do you have anything that you'd like to add for this text amendment?
I think we can read the comments that we received, and then maybe I'll speak after that.
Okay, I was going to use that during the public comment section. When I open up to the public, I'll have Barry read it when we could have for and against, and then I'll give Ed another opportunity to rebut that if anybody else wants to speak. Fair enough?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to speak after you read the letters.
Fair enough. Okay. Commission members have any questions for the applicant?
No.
Anyone? No. So Ed, is there enough space for 4 units? Is there enough parking for 4 units?
Currently, with the current parking, there is.
So was there a reason why you restricted it to just 2 floors, not 3?
It's the area that it is, it's kind of a smaller footprint, and we are trying to shy away from doing an elevator because we've just did one and it was almost $200,000, and having only 6, if we were to do 3 floors, having 6 units would be just extremely expensive, so.
But,
I mean-
but the regulation would allow that if he chose to do so,
Do what, Dave?
to have 3 stories.
100%,
Right.
no question about it.
Oh, just to follow up to that too, so if we did have first floor, we could technically, I guess, do a 3rd floor units without an elevator, because you do have the ADA, because it's over the 4 units, so that would be 6, but then it would be walk up to 3rd floor, so it really would be kind of not attractive. But in our current building, people walk up and don't even use the elevator, so I don't know.
Right, okay.
Where's the front of the building gonna face?
Front of the building's gonna face like the pickleball courts
Okay.
on that side.
And the back is covered by a building, or the back is? you can
Yeah,
see
the
it
back
from-
will be butting up to the back of the other building.
So you wouldn't really see it from, you only really see it from one street.
Yeah, it's really gonna be tucked away, kind of in the corner. And
And-
it's
and
pretty much
again-
gonna look like a mall.
And again, this is a zone change application, so he's going to have to come back with a site plan to show you what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it could be anywhere in the design district. It's not just what Ed is proposing. It could be across the street. It could be up the street. It's a zone change.
Correct. Right, so the zone change could be where Rite Aid is.
Yeah, anywhere.
So the zone that we're talking about is from almost the post office to Ed's property to STW, basically, library on down. So any one of those businesses in there could also apply for this. If something happens to Lucky Chinese Food, there could be a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment they put in there. Anyone, maybe impractical, but it doesn't matter because this is a zone for the entire thing. Not only Ed's property, but all of them in that entire stretch would be allowed to do that. So when we're thinking about whether we want to do this or not, you got to look at the holistic picture of everything in that district that this could be applied to.
Chair, I do have one question.
Go for it.
Now, the first floor apartments, will you designate those for either elderly or mobility impaired, or will it not have any impact at all? There'll be ADA, but you would just rent them first come, first served?
One of them will be ADA set up. We could prioritize trying to get people in while we're building it to, have the best use for those spaces. Because if it's under construction, we could start advertising sooner rather than later and try to prioritize.
So as we go through our discussion on this topic, I just want to remind the commission members of our role. One is, we're not obligated to do anything with the text amendment. We can make changes as we see fit, but he's not obligated to change his text amendment. We could adopt it as is or reject it outright. So they're the 4 basic options that we're faced with today with this text amendment. As we go through the whole process here, just want to remind us what our role is when it comes to this. It's his text amendment, it's not our commission's text amendment. So he's proposing something to change our regulations. So as you think about this, that we want this, we would adopt what he's proposing, and it would be ours, no longer his. Even though he's proposing it for his, it applies for that entire district. So just think about that as we go through this. Ed, was there anything else?
I'm good on my end if there's no any other questions.
Okay. No, I don't have any more, so what I'll do is, I'm gonna open up to public comment, and I'll refer to, those in support of public comment, but before I open up to the audience, I'll have Barry read the ones that are in support of. I think there's 2. Okay. We did receive a written comment for those who are watching and we're gonna read those now into the record.
All right. The first one I'm reading is dated January 6, 2026. It's coming from the from the Economic Development Commission. And it says, at our January 5th, 2026, at our meeting on January 5th, 2026, the Economic Development Commission voted to send a letter of support on behalf of the application number 2025-11. As you are aware, under current zoning, multifamily housing is only permitted on the second floor commercial zone. Similarly, the number of units is restricted to 1 unit per 10,000 square feet of lot space. Although much remains to be clarified with HB 8002, so-called middle housing, 2 to 9 unit, will be allowed as of right in commercial zones without restriction. As such, the type of development facilitated by the requested text change will eventually be allowed once HB 8002 comes into effect. Beyond this technical rationale, we believe adding housing to Northford Center will be a boon to businesses in the area who will benefit from increased foot traffic, combined with proposed changes in the Northford Center design study. We believe that middle housing projects will go a long way towards making Northford Center a self-sustaining commercial nod that will draw people throughout the area. Likewise, we believe the text change aligns with the stated goals of the town's plan of conservation and development and affordable housing plan. We appreciate your consideration on this matter and encourage you to approve this application. The next one is an email that was sent from Kara Papa. It was January 8, 2026. Good afternoon. I want to send in my support of zoning language change. Diversity of housing will support our community's members from early adulthood through retirement. Homes come in all sizes. Redevelopment in a business district without losing open space and the agriculture we cherish is vital and centered on our conservation plan. Thank you, Kara Papa. The next letter is coming from Jack Hearn. He says, hello, I would like to submit the following thoughts for consideration during the 1/8/2026 public hearing on language change housing. I lived in Whitneyville neighborhood of Hamden for many years and appreciated the convenience of walking to local businesses near the intersection of Whitney Ave and Putnam Ave, and improved my quality of life and especially my sense of community. Local resident and business person Eddie Lawton proposes housing in Northford Center, which could be very attractive to people seeking a walkable village center. I can envision how new residents per Eddie Lawton's proposal might support the many businesses already in Northford and encourage new ones. One obvious downside is how to enable safe pedestrian and cyclist navigation of an already dreadful crowded road convergence. The entire central Northford area calls out for a redesign and traffic flow even without new housing. Sincerely, Jack Hearn. The next one is an anonymous email that we received today, January 8, 2026. Hello, I wanted to address some concerns that I have with the proposed amendment change and respond to some of the things that were mentioned in the applicant's proposal. The language that the applicant wants to change is important and should not be changed to fit his profit margin. Allowing dwelling units on the first floor in a commercial area is eliminating the need and opportunity to progress North Branford in the future through business. It will no longer be a commercial area, but just another apartment complex that is out of place in its current location. North Branford already does not have enough businesses, excuse me, and removing real estate for them to come doesn't make any sense, especially for an economic viewpoint. The applicant also wants to adjust the lot size requirement from 10,000 square feet to 6,000 square feet. That is a significant amount of land that he wants to have changed and to be able to place apartments on. If you allow him to do this and change the language in our zoning regulations, then you have to do this with every developer. Sooner rather than later, we will have massive apartment complex in odd locations, crunched into tiny areas, taken away from the integrity and character of our town, and no longer making it a town, but the inner city. The applicant mentioned that if these modifications are not changed, housing would be inaccessible to those with mobility changes and elderly residents, including those buildings without elevators. It is the applicant's responsibility to comply with the ADA requirements when building multifamily units, not the town's. Those requirements allow people with disabilities to access dwellings on other floors, which he should be in compliance with when building these apartment complexes. There should be and have not been issues with people that have disabilities not being able to gain access to units that are not on the first floor. It is disappointing that the applicant would attempt to use disabilities as an excuse to create more apartments in order to add to his rental portfolio that he is profiting from. I live in North Brantford, and I want to see it progress in a positive way for my children. Changing, redacting, manipulating wording to adhere to additional passive income for a resident is not the direction that the town should be going in. If you do this for him, you are setting precedent and have to do it for everyone. It will open the floodgates and destroy our town. Please remember why we have these zoning regulations in the first place. Signed, unanimous. It did come from an email.
Thank you, Barry, appreciate it. With that being said, I'll open it up to the floor if anybody would like to speak in favor of the proposal, the text amendment proposal. Would anybody like to speak in favor of? In favor of the proposal? Hearing none, would anybody like to speak in opposition to the proposal? Anyone speak in opposition? Anyone like to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna pass it over to Dave to have some comment relative to the letters that were received.
So the letters reference House Bill 8002, which was recently passed. And under that regulation, beginning July 1st, 2026, zoning regulations must allow transit, community, middle housing developments and mixed-use developments subject only to a summary review on any parcel that is zoned for commercial or mixed-use development. So the middle what's it called, middle housing development is anything up to 9 units. So as of July 1st, this will be allowed. We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to rewrite our regulations to allow that to happen based on setbacks, coverage, all that sort of stuff. So what the applicant is trying to do basically is to push this ahead of the July 1st deadline.
Okay. Anything else, Dave?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so that's July 1st. And correct me if I'm wrong, are we not have something on the books for our holistic review of all our districts in North Branford? For a complete zone change, text amendment, proposal for form-based zoning?
Yes.
For this particular district?
Correct.
So when that comes to fruition, if we were to act on this, we would have to then change and incorporate this text amendment into that as well?
Correct. Yes.
So we'd have to do this again?
Yes.
Okay. And the law takes in effect July 1st?
July 1st, yep.
Okay. So, okay. Okay.
And I believe that square footage area may very well, we could still have the 10,000 square feet per each unit as part of our regulation.
Yeah.
We don't need to eliminate that because that's part of the bulk standards, like setbacks and floor area and everything else. So the July 1st may not give him the ability, if we continue to keep the 10,000 square foot number in our regulation. And I don't think that this new law would not allow us to do that.
Okay,
We can still have ratios.
okay.
I think you also, need to understand that this is the whole district. It's not just, the applicant is looking to do what he wants to do, but you're opening it up to anybody else. So as you said, the Chinese restaurant could become an apartment,
That's right. And so could Rite Aid.
and so could Rite Aid.
So is that really what we want? But any of them, okay. So with that being said, before I close the public hearing, would anyone else like to speak regarding the public hearing for this text amendment? If not, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Barry, second by Ron. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. So just for the record, there are 6 members seated here today. Only 5 are voting. Paul's going to, Mary's going to be our alternate member. We have 2 alternates tonight, Mary and Paul. Mary's going to be our designated 5th member. Paul's going to abstain from voting on this matter. That matters for tonight, so. Eddie, would you like to rebut some of the comments from the individuals that we have on record?
Just wanted to reiterate that, that a lot of people in town that I've talked to have been in support of it, seeing a lot of.
Can I interrupt you for a second? Just for a point of order, I kind of screwed up.
Yep.
I closed the public hearing without you rebutting the comments.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
I
fine.
kinda
I
screwed
mean,
that
you
up.
guys know what I'm kind of looking for anyway, so
I apologize, but
that's okay.
you can have the discussion if you like. I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking. but
Yeah, no, I just,
If that's all right with the
I'm
rest
good.
of the commission and the point of order, Dave, is there any?
I think you're fine.
Okay, go for it, Eddie. Come up and say what you need to say.
just reiterating a couple things from the anonymous letter. Again, not every building would be subject to the ADA requirement. Also, we've been very well received in town with building more apartments and, doing it in a way that's, not overcrowding, I think. And also, it's, again, increasing per acre from 4 to 7 units. So it's not like this drastic change, but it's kind of responsibly increasing it a little bit to help the housing supply, but not giving a free-for-all for any developer that's going to develop the town. And also, the Northford Design District 2 is extremely limited on what could be done there already because of the existing buildings and stuff like that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Sorry, guys, I kind of messed that up, but now it's our turn to have a conversation relative to, since I closed the public hearing without having Eddie rebut the comments, but we're still at that point in time in our discussion. We're deliberating on whether the text amendment should be voted on as is, modified, rejected outright, or I forget the other component. Yeah, that's about it.
You could change it.
Or I could change it. It'd be up to him if he wants, if he's accepted to our change, because it's his application, not ours. So, from my perspective, there is a housing shortage. I think we all agree that as commission members.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think we're also looking at it from a business standpoint of view, right? We want more business in North Branford. I don't think I want to give up any business opportunities anywhere in town. And I think we're taking away from it with this proposal by having, well, hold on a second. So we not only will be taking away from business opportunities at this location, but business opportunities throughout the entire district. If business goes away, then someone can come in and put apartments. And if that's the trend, that we lose all the business in Northford to apartments? I mean, as a commission, what do we want the town to reflect? Apartment complex, which it just could yield to for the entire district? Even though it's only for this, I'm sorry, it's for the entire district. Not, so if we take Mr. Loudon's out of the question, take his little building out of it and consider the entire holistic envelope, is it really something that we want? To turn all of Northford into apartments with reduced sizing from 10,000 to 6,000, that means that there'll be more apartments than businesses as you go forward. A 10,000, because the regulation, maybe they were before housing, but let's assume that all of our 10,000 square feet, all the businesses, they can be all converted to 6,000 square foot dwelling units without making any modifications.
In that district.
In that district. From the post office to the Dunkin', to the Triangle from Northford, an entire stretch, basically the whole strip mall area on the right side as you go north on 17. There's
So
some,
you saying that hypothetically, so Rite Aid is empty,
yes,
so they wouldn't put apartments in it, they would take it down and build an apartment building? Is that the
They could.
potential?
Or they could just put them right in.
Where they,
Or they could just put it right in there.
Well, you couldn't, the way it's designed, I mean, you can't put apartments with no windows or no exits.
Yeah,
You
they
have
would
to
have to change the building.
redesign the whole thing. I mean, and you talk about the Chinese restaurant, so that's, Plaza's owned by one person, correct? And there's some very successful businesses in there. So he would potentially take one business and turn it into an apartment?
that's the opportunity that we're allowing him to do.
Mhm.
So for this
I mean,
particular.
I can't see
I know what you're
all the businesses going out, because there's some successful,
Well, this is true.
but they might would leave if, you know, apartments do pop up there and it's getting overrun, bad areas. Take for instance in New Haven, Seafood closed down recently, he's in a bad neighborhood, he was getting older in age, he just didn't want to be there. Was it successful? Yes, but the neighborhood that he moved into years ago changed drastically over the years, and he had to get out. Yeah, it was successful, even when he got out, it was successful, but he had to get out, he just couldn't stay there anymore. So, I mean, it could happen. I mean, you gotta think, you can't think short term, you gotta think long term of what you want North Brantford to look at, like in
course.
20 years,
of course.
not 5 months from now or 6 months from now.
No, of course, but I also, I mean, there's no land there, so it would have to be something that's there, and then
Yeah.
it would have to convert.
Yeah.
And a lot of those businesses have been there forever. I mean, Rite Aid is new, but the Plaza, just trying to think in back, the Plaza, and the gas stations have been there forever. I don't know, I'm just trying to think it through, because I'm in the North Branford Design District, and I also have a multifamily. And I only have 2 apartments on the 2nd floor. I can't, they're never empty. And I do have a lot of elderly people who are looking to downsize, and they can't do the stairs. So I do think there's a need. I don't know.
Is he able to take that piece of property that he wants to put it on and just come and get a permit for that particular property? Instead of making a whole change in the whole area? if you guys decide against.
Theoretically, but we wouldn't entertain it. Why would we? For just that one piece of property, then you're carving out spot zoning for that one particular lot, and we're against that. So let's talk about the bill, HR 8002. It's dubbed affordable housing.
Can they make changes to it before it becomes law?
They're coming in session in a couple of weeks, so I would assume it's going to be debated,
Okay.
right? So the bill is really for all 169 towns in Connecticut to achieve what the bill calls economic diversity. What does that mean? Economic diversity. Right? This text amendment doesn't talk about affordable housing. July 1st is when it starts to take in effect. Right? In that bill, through the Southern Connecticut Regional Governors, will dictate how many people in each income level a town must house. I quote from the bill. So when you talk about HR 8002, are we setting ourselves up with this text amendment ahead of what's coming? SCRA's going to dictate how many people from each income level will this town must house. Must. So by allowing this text amendment to go forward, do we want Rite to be an affordable housing complex ahead of the bill instead of ahead of the state telling us what to do?
They're still up there fighting against that as well.
Right, so it's July 1st is when this takes effect. In addition to that, we have our own text amendment in the works that we've been working on for a year.
So with his property too, so he could take the first floor as a 3,000 square foot business and put 2 apartments upstairs.
As it stands right now, you could do that.
He could do that.
Again, Mayor, it's only theoretical,
Right.
Yeah, that's all
but
theoretical.
it's not, nothing is set in stone. This is only a text amendment, it has nothing to do with any particular property within that entire district. We have our own EDC in support of it,
Mhm.
right?
A quick question.
Go ahead.
If a storefront in Northford decides to put an apartment in at ground level, do they still maintain the B1 tax rate, or does the tax rate change?
The tax rate's not based on the zone.
It's typical, just like regarding taxes, it's basically the property value for the piece of property with the building on it.
Correct.
And whatever's in that building, it's taxed accordingly, just as you would have a pool, shed, garage, so on and so forth. It's a square footprint by X number of dollars per square foot,
Right.
correct? Okay.
So there is no advantage for him to have the option of retail on the ground floor or apartments on the ground floor?
Say that again?
There's no I'm sorry. There's no tax advantage to have the option of putting apartments on the first floor or putting retail space on the first floor.
Well,
It's a-
typically you get a bigger tax value on a commercial business than you do on a residential business. Just because there's personal property involved and
So I'm
it's
just,
just different.
yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate. He will have the option, hopefully, the Norfolk Center, starts thriving where he can convert the first floor into retail space.
Sure. And right now, he could build, like he did, you
Yes,
know,
that's
with
what I'm
commercial on
saying.
the first floor.
He has the option of reverting back to, like the other houses and the other buildings in that triangle.
If
with retail
you
on the
wanted
first
to,
floor,
sure.
Should the need arise.
I just like the idea that there's going to be first floor access for an apartment. Because I don't think there is, I don't, it's bothersome to me that the text amendment states that in those zones, residential is only on the second floor. I just think it leaves out a population of people.
Well, it does because it's a commercial zone. So in a residential zone where you could have multifamily housing, then you can have it on the first floor. But it's business zone where you're supposed to transact business on the first floor. I mean, I think some of our form-based zoning, creates first floor housing in the back of units, not in the front of units.
Right.
So we continue to establish our business zone on the street frontage and allow some residential in the back. That's a creative response that we've been working on.
Right.
And that's such a great idea.
Right.
So with that being said, we do have a text amendment in the works. It seems to be that our text amendment will kind of incorporate somewhat this text amendment. If not in our development, we should consider our text amendment to reflect some of the text amendment that's being proposed tonight. I'm not a big fan of House Bill 8002, based on the language of economic diversity. Just another word for low-income housing. That's really what the bill's being forced on every single town, in my opinion, just my opinion. There's still some discussion in the legislature on how it's going to be implemented, and some conversations relative to the language that was proposed in the bill. It is my understanding anyway. But I don't think we should consider that. The bill's coming out and approved July 1st, 2026, and we'll see what happens in the next legislative session, in my opinion.
And it's also unsettling that they're telling the towns, each town, what they have to do. Because towns are so different in Connecticut. So that's unfortunate too, in that bill, that they're saying everyone has to do the same thing.
Right.
It's a disservice to the population they're trying to obtain housing for, in my opinion. So, I know we're getting off topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about,
Yeah.
what do we want Norfolk to look like?
Right.
Do you want it to be an affordable housing mecca for the entire town, because, Mary, you said that those businesses are viable today. They may not be. If you look at the position of residential component for a monthly income versus how their business is, they could flip. I don't know the economics behind it,
Well, and more residential could help feed the businesses as well.
and that's what our form-based code will address.
Right.
That we're looking at still mixed use with business on the first floor and residential above. And at some point, how much of that first floor would be residential, I don't know. Because if that was part of the form base you just stated, right? So when we look at that form base, we should consider, I believe, is the building of the property into mixed use with with a percentage of the first floor being business. If he's gonna put in, let's say there's 10 first floor businesses and he has 2 floors of residential. We want resident to stay on the property to feed the businesses. That's the whole objective, right? If all 10 are filled, right, maybe there's a potential for, let's say 80% of them are filled. Would we object to having the other 20% first floor be residential? I don't know. That's a question. 90% should be business and the last 10% in one complex. So there's not just every first floor and every business zone is all residential. So then why would you have a business zone then? You just want to make an R40. I mean, we've designated business for business, right? And we're looking for more business. I mean, I would think.
Are there other businesses on that property on the first floor?
All of them.
Yeah.
There is no, rephrase that, there's no residential on the first floor in
Right.
that triangle or anywhere in North Branford?
Correct.
I don't think, yeah, nowhere, not in the
Right, 'cause-
business district.
Not in the business districts. Right. There's one example, I believe, Mary, is by Atwater Library. Right next to there was I think a 3-family,
Mhm.
right? And the first floor was a business and then it became residential. But it's residential to begin with, I believe.
The white one?
The white one as you look at it to the left, Atwater and then to the left, I
On
think.
the side street.
On the side street.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that still residential there?
It's still
Because
residential.
business is on the other side of the river by the church going up to Central Plaza, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. So with that being said, do we have any more comments from anyone on the commission? Okay. No comments? All right. Then we'll next is a motion to approve or disapprove the text amendment. Am I following the right procedure, Dave?
Yep, you're doing really
Okay.
well.
This time.
A motion would be the thing to have.
Motion to, okay. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion in favor of 2025-11 amendment to zoning regulations.
So what's the feeling of the board? Is it to approve or deny? Maybe you just want to have a little conversation about that so you can formulate a motion appropriately.
Fair enough. So I guess I'll lead off the discussion. So this is 5 of us. Paul's going to abstain from voting.
Just because it's an odd number.
Right. Well, it's only a 5-member board.
Yeah.
Right, so it'd be myself, Ron, Barry, Chris, and Mary. So leading the discussion, I am not in favor of the text amendment as it's stated. We are in the works of putting a whole holistic change to the whole entire Northford district. And regardless of the passing of the implementation of HR 8002 come July 1st, 2026, it still gives us time I'm hoping that before now and then, we actually have our public hearing for our own text amendment and get that through before July 1st. And by that time, the state legislature will figure out what's the right definitions for what and how it's going to be applicable to each and every 169 towns for economic diversity. So I am not in favor of the text amendment.
I'll second you. I'm not in favor of the text amendment. I do invite Mr. Lawton, please review our prior conversations at the Planning and Zoning Commission, see where we're going for the districts. And if you have any input, please forward them to Dave for our consideration. You can show the meetings in the coming months. I think in the next couple months, we should be making a lot of progress by then. If you have changes you would like to see implemented that could help the district, definitely the district that you're trying to change, please send them to us. Because we have been making a lot of work over the past year. We are moving forward with it.
I guess my thing is, I agree with you guys, but I also want to say that the building, I don't think is out of the question. It's a matter of how it fits in with the overlay of the whole Northford Center.
The building is not part of the conversation. It's just,
Right.
he's trying to change the text to allow for the first floor the proposed building in the future to be residential, so.
Gotcha, so we're not even discussing the building.
No.
It's just a matter of if there's retail on the first floor or not.
Right,
Correct.
It's not necessarily his building at Rite Aid
Yeah,
or anywhere
that's-
else in the district. That's what we're looking for, so.
So where do we stand?
I don't know, I was gonna ask Chris and Mary, see what you guys think.
So let's say we get all of our form-based zoning, that stuff squared away, say it's in place by June, and then the state comes in and passes this. That supersedes we're still gonna run into the same issue, correct?
But I don't know. We'd have to change our regulations to match what the state final disposition is at some point in the future. We're not changing our regs July 1st, 2026.
Right.
So you're right, Chris, it'd be 3 changes then, wouldn't it? This one, ours, and the state's. It almost makes sense to just wait. Right? Mayor, did we answer all your questions, son?
You did, and, I mean, I would have to say, and, you know, I'm always the odd one, but I would be in favor of it. I see it as an inclusive answer in a already business area. I just can't, I do think about the town in the future. I've been here probably 30 years. And I just don't see it turning into this mass apartment complex. And I do think we have to be more of a community rather than a bedroom community where people can gather and be in and around and patronize businesses. And I feel very strongly about the inclusivity of a first floor apartment. So I would be in favor of it.
Okay. Fair enough. So is the commission ready to vote? Okay, so unless there's any further discussion? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion in favor of the text amendment as proposed. All in favor? You guys gotta make the motion, I can't make the motion.
Right.
I'll make a motion to deny the application 2025-11.
We have a motion by Barry. Do we have a second?
I'm gonna have to second it, only because, you know, I don't know what's happening with this 8002 in July. So it's like we're going to make changes and then a couple months later have to make more changes. So rather we encompass all of our changes together as opposed to nitpicking and.
Okay. So we have a motion to deny 2025, motion by Barry with second by Ron. So the motion is to deny the application. Is there any discussion? So all in favor of denying the application 2025-11 amendment to the zoning regulations, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So the motion carries 3-2 for denial of application 2025-11. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Old business number 5, application 2025-9, West Palm Pond Road re-subdivision. We had closed the public hearing last time, and we were left with some issues relative to the inland wetlands plan review stuff. Dave, you want to bring us up to speed?
So the last plan that we looked at briefly before we closed the public hearing showed a stormwater pipe discharging from the cul-de-sac into the wetlands at a depth of approximately 8 to 10 feet underground of some material that we're not quite sure what it is, but it probably has a lot of rock to get that flow from the cul-de-sac to the wetlands. There is no permit from the wetlands agency to allow that drainage to take place. That final plan that we saw before we closed the public hearing is not something that we can approve as presented. Unfortunately, we did close the public hearing, so we're not allowed to ask the engineer or her agent to give us more information. The town staff has reviewed that original plan with the engineer and has decided that there are feasible alternatives that would allow the drainage to be collected in areas that would not impact the wetlands and would not require a resubmission to the wetlands and would be just as feasible and workable as the plan that was presented prior to closing the public hearing. Seeing as though we closed the public hearing, I believe that you could condition the application and approve it based on the town engineer and the town planner working together with the applicant's engineer to create a solution to the stormwater runoff that would be acceptable and feasible and actually work without going back to wetlands.
So when, let me just be clear, right? So once the inland wetlands application and the plan is finalized and they approve it, there should be no changes after that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So how do we fix the plans that we're approving that have a set of drainage on them? Drainage by the condition, the language that we put in the conditional approval?
Correct, yes. I think you can condition your approval. I wrote some items up on a proposed conditions of approval. I have talked to the town attorney as well as the applicant's attorney, and they both feel that the conditional approval would be acceptable to each of them.
Dave, does this, correct me if I'm wrong, all the applications that are approved by the commission are filed and kept together, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Somewhere?
Yes,
Because there's not really a stamp on the plan saying approved by, well, actually, there would be once the plans are finalized and the Mylars come into the town, the chairman signs off on the Mylars. Is that accurate?
yes.
Right, so if that pipe is there, then I can't sign. the
Well, no,
plans.
because you've conditioned the approval on a change to those plans that would be approved by the town engineer and the town planner and the applicant's engineer. So that's part of the conditional approval, and then you would sign off on that Mylar that we've approved under your jurisdiction and direction through your condition of the application approval.
So that conditional approval is legal
Yes.
from a P and Z standpoint of view, so we're not.
That's the advice I've been given by the town attorney and the applicant's attorney.
Okay, because we're trying to protect ourselves from any future lawsuits from anybody who says, oh, look at, they signed off on the plan with the pipe that goes in the wetlands after the inland wetlands approved it. You follow me?
Correct, but the
All
wetlands approve, but the final approved map has no more effect on the wetlands than it did at the beginning.
As long as at the final approval, when the chairman signs off on the document, the final plans, the drainage from the cul-de-sac is resolved and not impacting the wetlands, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Does that make sense to the commissioners?
Yes, so in layman's terms, we move forward with the approval with the stipulation that they're gonna work with the building department and wrap up any loose ends that are open.
That's correct.
I'll make a motion to,
So before you do that, this is the comment relative to that, so it's on the record and it doesn't get brushed over, right? The commission finds that the proposed stormwater flow from the end of the cul-de-sac to the wetlands area would require a new application to the IWWC and then Wetlands Commission, and that the proposal may not be feasible due to the depth of the pipes underground to reach the wetlands. The commission finds that there may be other alternative solutions to stormwater discharge system that might be feasible and would not affect any wetlands. The commission directs the town planner and the town engineer to meet with the developer and develop a feasible plan that would not affect the wetlands.
will they have to come back to us and show us that, or that'd be something they would work on with themselves?
The three parties, the two towns and the developer will work through it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's-
Do you find that statement accurate enough? for our liking? Because we're signing off on it.
Yeah, we're basically telling them they gotta get together and figure it out.
Yes, a
We're at
special
it.
condition, yeah.
It's a conditional.
Okay.
You can't bite us in the ass at the end because it's on them.
Okay, fair enough. So we have any other questions, concerns regarding this? Anybody? Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the application 2025-9 West Pond Road, Glenwood.
And do you want to read that a little bit more?
Okay. I make a motion to approve PZC application number 2025-9 West Pond Road, re-subdivision of lot to create 5 new residential lots with frontage access on Glenwood Road, cul-de-sac, assessor map 27B, lot 18-1, R80 zone, owner applicant BC Investment Properties LLC, Bruno Sacconi, as described in the submitted application documents and shown on plans entitled Land of BC Investment Properties LLC, West Pond Road, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by Julian Associates LLC, containing the following sheets.
You don't have to read them all.
All right, the special conditions I'm going to outline is I'll read the special conditions. Open space to be deed restricted to the North Branford Land Conservation Trust. 24, easements and shared driveway agreements to be a part of deeds to lots. 25, restoration of land at 64 Glenwood Road and 67 Glenwood Road upon extension of Glenwood Road. 26, wetland crossing open box structure to 3-foot height.
I don't think we did that. We left that at 2 feet. So we'll
2
eliminate.
feet, all right, well.
Eliminate that 26.
26 is eliminated. 26, the new 26, extension of Glenwood Road to be deeded to town of North Branford. 27, street numbers and assessor parcel IDs to be on Mylar prior to be recorded. Lot 1, 71 Glenwood Road, map 27B, lot 18-2.
I don't think you need to read all those.
All right, 28 is the commission finds that the proposed stormwater flow from the end of the cul-de-sac to the wetlands area would require a new application to the IWWC, and that the proposal may not be feasible due to the depth of the pipes underground to reach the wetlands. The commission finds that there may be other alternate solutions to the stormwater discharge system that might be feasible and would not affect any wetlands. The commission directs the town planner and town engineer to meet with the developer and develop a feasible plan that would not affect the wetlands.
I'll second.
Who's that, Chris?
I'll second.
Motion by Barry, second by Chris. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank
Good luck,
you.
guys.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So just a note for us, we don't want to be putting ourselves in this position again.
Right.
You know, so if we're going to make any changes, it has to happen before the public hearing and may have to go back to inland wetlands to get a blessing. Right?
Yeah, we won't do that again.
Yeah. So it is what it is at this point in time, so lessons learned as we sit here every day, learning something new. Welcome to 2026, right, Dave?
I wasn't listening.
No more inland wetlands changes at all. We're done.
They give their approval, they give their.
They get their approval, that's it. Go back or make a change and get back to them so they say it was okay. Or somebody. Right, because it would have happened if we didn't close the public hearing, would they have gone back to the inland wetlands to discuss it? Or no? Or they would have,
Well,
they
we
would
would've-
have had an opportunity to move the pipe
Correct.
without having going to IWWC.
Well, they could have just moved the pipe and come back with a new plan and showed it to you.
Right, and
But
that would
since
have been it.
I mean, that's why I'm always sitting here saying, don't close the public hearing, keep it open as long as you can.
Roger that. Okay, so lesson learned.
I mean, because we saw that on a Tuesday and heard it on a Thursday, and then
That's right,
Monday
that's
I
right.
looked at it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she turned it around quick, unfortunately, oops, so, okay. Did you want to,
I don't know if the commission hears just general public comment at all. I'd like to make a public comment.
come up to the microphone, we're open.
I'm here as an individual. My name is Len Fasano. On this housing bill issue, if I may, and I was going to get up and talk, I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot that I think is going to happen next session on the housing bill because the terms are undefined. What are the bulk standards if you decide to opt into doing an apartment? What is a commercial zone? Is a business use commercial? Is a industrial, old industrial factory building, is that commercial? Because it talks about commercial zone, but towns like you have business zones and maybe professional zones. I tell you this because I think there's a lot between the lip and the cup coming up on July 1st. I think there's going to be in this short session, which starts in February and ends in May, a lot of discussion about the definitions. And I think there are a lot of legislators who are confused as to how to advise their towns on the impact of what this housing bill says. I tell you this, I'm a lawyer, but I am the legislative commissioner for the state of Connecticut. One of my jobs is to read the bills. I can tell you that there's a lot of discussion on how we're going to deal with it. And the way the bill is written, it is the COG that's going to determine in the town what your housing is going to look like. And if you do it yourselves, which you should, and it's going to take a lot of work and effort, they get to review it. And if you don't agree with their comments, then you could be denied by OPM, which is the governor's office, and then that's big problems for all towns. I think that boards like you should meet with your council, get ahead of this ball game. Vin Candelora has a big voice, he's a great guy, and he knows his bill inside and out. And I've talked to him a great deal about this. But I just tell you that you have to be on your toes. Mr. Chairman, you talked about the fact that it's coming and what do those definitions mean? And I think this bill came too quick. I could tell you it was not reviewed by the Legislative Commissioner's Office. It was approved before we even saw language because it was in special session. And there's nothing like bad sausage to be made during a special session. I just wanted, because you could bring it up, I don't want to talk while the applicant had his application. I don't want to, I felt I shouldn't do that. So I just want to take this time. And I thank you, and I thank you all for your volunteerism on this board.
so I have a question for you, Lynn, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Could you help us understand the role of SCROG? Now, SCROG is all of New Haven County, correct? Something like that.
Yeah, so-
Our region here, our Southern Connecticut Regional Council of Governors,
Correct.
it's always hard for us to understand exactly what they do, who are they.
So COG is
how
like
they're gonna
a
impact us.
county form of government is really what it is. And they don't have a lot of power. Years ago, they tried to give them a lot of power, and the legislature stopped it. They were going to dole out money. There was a proposal in which a certain amount of sales tax was going to go to COG. COG would get the sales tax and reallocate it to the towns. And we felt that small towns like North Branford, East Haven would end up on the short end of the stick, and other municipalities such as New Haven would get a greater end of the stick. So there's a great pushback to that. So COG kind of sits there without a lot of power. This is going to give COG an awful lot of power. And remember, COG's a membership. So North Branford pays to be in COG, New Haven pays to be in COG, Waterbury, but they're not part of our COG. And sometimes those who pay the bigger membership may have the biggest voice. So because that's how they get their salaries paid, is through the membership. So there's a lot here. And I think it's going to take a lot of work by you all to stay on top of it. But COG really is a regional forum to get the mayors and first selectmen's together so everyone has a conversation. Maybe they share services within COG, emergency services, and I think that's a good tool to have. Now I'm going to editorialize and say this is a sliding scale to turn COG into a zoning commission for towns and maybe even an educational commission, which is what they tried to do several years ago. Once again, that was blocked. So you got to stay on your toes. If you're not at the table, you become the meal. So you got to be at the table all the time. I thank you for your time again.
So I got one more question for you. So is it true, my statement that the SCROG is going to dictate how many people at each income level a town must house? Is that accurate in your recollection?
Say that one more time?
The SCROG will dictate how many people at each income level a town must house.
So I don't know if that's true. There was an older bill version that the governor vetoed that had a quota number, correct. I believe they got rid of the quota number. What I will do is I will send to Dave so when the bills come out of the legislature, there's something called the Legislative Commissioner's Office and Legislative Research Office. I will send to Dave the English language of that bill. Every paragraph broken out and talked about in layman's terms as opposed to the jargon they use up there. I think you may find that tremendously helpful to understand this bill from your point of view. Certain provisions went into effect October 1st. Other provisions go into effect July 1st. But provisions that affect you all's planning and zoning. For instance, projects cannot be approved by you if you have a stone wall and they put the little stones on top of the stone wall so people can't sit on it or lay on it, you guys have to disapprove that application. You cannot affect someone's right to use a property to sleep on, architecturally wise. It's kind of crazy. But I will send it to Dave. Dave can send it. Take the time, it's long, but take the time to read it. I think it's important reading, if I may.
I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you all. I appreciate
For
it.
that information.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, Lynn.
Well, that was interesting. Wow.
You learn something new every day.
Hey, welcome to 2026. I think we're done. We're done for the whole year already. We learned so many things. With that being said, let's move on to, back to our agenda here. New business. There's no new business on the agenda. Old business, we have Schedule A and form-based code presentation discussion. There's anything new, Dave, on your end for those two items?
No, but I think we could start moving forward on the Schedule A implementation, if you wish.
I think it would be a good idea.
I mean, we aim for February, public hearing in February.
Okay, how do you want to handle that?
Can we get it into the sound?
What?
Can we get it into the sound? Do you have enough time?
Oh, yeah, we can get it into,
Well, I'm sorry, let me be a little bit clearer. Me and myself, Janet and myself will not be here.
That's true.
I'm not a voting member, so it doesn't matter.
So how do you want to handle the chairman? Can I remote in?
yeah, we'll set up a hybrid meeting.
And so acting as chairman, or if I dial in, that's going to be hard for me to run a meeting remotely, I would assume.
Yeah, so
Am I
you
going to
can-
be on the big screen too?
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll just be you up there.
Big brother, big brother.
Watch your background.
Yeah.
We can,
Yeah, nah.
I'll make sure I don't stand up.
Yeah, don't stand up.
We swim trunks.
we can work that out.
Have a shirt on.
Okay.
If we aim for the 2nd February meeting?
For the Schedule A.
Yeah.
Do you want to do, what was, the other one was, in conjunction with that is the bed and breakfast? No,
Yeah, there are a bunch of other,
little miscellaneous ones,
yeah,
right?
cleanup stuff at the same time.
Okay. Could we add that to this month's monthly newsletter for the town?
Will we
The
have a,
specificality for Schedule A and those components?
yes,
You haven't received any comment relative to either one of those two items, right?
No.
Schedule A or Form Base? So the issue is we're trying to get the word out so we are
Chicken considered.
No, I think it's working. I think I've heard people talk
I'm
about
tense
it.
out front this time.
We don't need any guys in chicken representatives in outfits coming to our public hearing, but in any event, so we're trying to be transparent and let the public know what's coming. So I advise anybody watching this to go to the town website under planning and zoning and look for Schedule A changes and form-based code presentation. We're entertaining at any point in time, either written or face-to-face comment at any planning and zoning meeting. That's why they're on the agenda.
or feel free to contact the town planner.
Or feel free to contact Dave Perkins. Write him a letter, come see him. We're here. We just want public comment, so everyone has an opportunity to speak about it before we go to public hearing and make changes as appropriate if necessary. Anything else, Dave?
Am I up to the town planner's report?
The town plans, if we're all done with the town center form base, I think we're good to move on.
We could open that at that same meeting as well, if you want.
The form base?
Yeah.
I would rather, at the public hearing, let's do them independently.
Correct.
We don't want to do them together. We got in trouble last time for that. I did. I'll take the heat.
Or
So
the
we'll do them
chickens.
independently, yeah. The form base, we should, that's a wholesale change to our regulations and that.
Correct. And I think, we can tie that in with the Northford study and the public meetings that the Northford study will still be doing come this springtime. So we can do those simultaneously.
Okay. So as soon as you know that they did that, let's put that out on the website so everyone knows it's gonna be here and whatever,
Right.
just to give.
So with the
everyone-
Northford Village study, we've completed the survey, and the consultants are actually working on some design aspects of where we can put in sidewalks and where curb cuts should be eliminated and how we actually can structure the project.
Okay.
So we're getting closer to a design situation as opposed to a conceptual one. We can still change it, it's still new, but now we actually know where all the manholes are and the sewer covers and the heights of the rocks. And
I think it was money well spent to do that survey, to figure if we can tie in the old 22 at the library
Right,
back to where it was before at the traffic light.
Is that project funded already? Is the money sitting waiting for us to finalize what we're gonna do and then pull the trigger and go, or does it, how's it?
No,
work?
it's always it's an appropriation and the application and all this other kind of stuff.
So we could we could spend all this time on this, we could spend all the money on studies, we could spend a lot of spending and wasting, and at the end of the day, put it in and the state will say, now,
well, we can apply for a state connectivity grant, which are anywhere from $500,000 to a couple $1 million.
yeah, but if you get the grant, you gotta pay it back, don't you, or no?
No,
No, a grant is a
So
grant.
the grant would cover the,
but they don't cover the design cost.
that's what we're already in.
And we're already into a bit of a design mode, so once we get through this project, we should be 30% into a design mode, so we shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of money doing the rest of the design work.
Who's paying, who's paying for all the,
Your friends at the COG. They're your
The ones
county,
wanted to
they're your
have
county
people
government.
read it.
People in North
Kill you.
Branford,
Right.
10 million.
they foot the bill for this preliminary design. We threw in some money, Dave, right? For
Yep.
the survey aspect of it to get it to the next level. So we're moving beyond the study.
Okay.
We're moving into actual, here's our plan, DOT. This is, how do we fund this? Who's gonna pay for it? And this is what we wanna build.
We're gonna have more than just a conceptual plan, we're gonna have a halfway engineered plan,
Okay.
Yeah,
which
so-
is something we haven't had for the last 30 years.
These are multiple people with questions like that, so that's good that they got answers.
I think we're on our way, quite frankly. Dave, you correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you have 30% design, right? And we already have our design consultant is discussing the plans with the DOT,
Correct.
right? So they're working concurrently already on design.
You're against the roundabout too?
Yeah, I think so.
We can have it like a sky walkway.
Oh, you woke up.
An overpass.
Yeah, like an yeah, I would love that, yeah.
Well, what happened to the rotaries?
Yeah, the road, the
We should
roundabout.
put 8 roundabout circles around that area.
Well, you'll have an opportunity to vote on the final design come the springtime,
Like a
basically, right?
Valentine's
Yes.
Beers thing, you get the 3, you can kind
Roundabout.
of overpass it.
I mean, they took what they presented in last year, and I think most people voted to have a T-type intersection. The ones that were there, the 50 or so people that
Yeah.
we were there.
Yeah.
And the roundabout didn't have a lot of really support.
Mhm.
But it is kind of what the state was going through. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, unless you.
No,
see it
that's
that way,
correct.
Right? So they're taking that. I don't know if they're going to present that concept as well?
The
The
roundabout? No,
No.
the roundabout's off the table.
That's off the
Yeah.
table.
Is 150 included in there?
No, sir.
No,
It wasn't part of our discussion at the time. It was in the original 2006 study to do something with that, but that's a whole nother,
It looked cool.
that's the next one, next opportunity. We should push for that.
Put a fountain in the roundabout.
That's where we can put the roundabout.
Let Dave bring it back up to him. Put a fountain in, right? We want the roundabout back
Yeah.
on the table with a fountain.
swimming
space.
pool,
Yeah.
That's what those- that's what
The
those
apartment, the
shrog people that
huge
take the
apartments
showers.
can use that as a swimming pool. Or a hot tub. We'll heat the fountain.
I got it right here. Oh, yeah, now see? There's the roundabout. There's more green.
Dave, what do you have for your report, sir?
Yeah, what is the green?
So
thing?
for our next meeting, we're gonna have, Attorney Fasano will be back presenting a zone change for the Duties property, like we heard a year ago or so.
Okay.
They're gonna come back and try again.
Okay. So I'll be in Florida for that one.
Correct, but we'll get you in.
Okay.
Can you vote from Florida?
I don't know. You're the next senior man if Bill doesn't show up, so you'll be running the public
You
hearing.
can vote from Florida, why can't you?
Technicalities.
I don't know. Is that legal?
What, to be the chairman from Florida?
And vote remotely?
Sure.
Of course it is.
If you're
And
here.
you're even asking.
Yeah, you're alive.
You can have the whole commission on Zoom, you don't even have to show up.
Oh, boy, I tell you.
All right.
Well, you can always come to, we could have the public hearing in Florida.
Or Barbados.
Barbados.
Go to
I
Barbados.
like even better.
Exactly. Anything else, Dave, for the 22nd?
No,
So we just have the zone change for Duties property, correct?
right.
Okay, then we'll move ahead with sometime in February for Schedule A, end of February?
Yeah.
So before we end up on, if you all squared away, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so before we move on to number 9 for adjournment, I'd ask the commission to, over the next month or so, look at the form-based zone code and try to pick out sections at a time to kind of get your arms around, because it is voluminous. The pictures are great. It's hard to kind of understand some of the other components of the offsets and stuff like that. It was always difficult to begin with. We do have a baseline in our plans, in our regulations already. They are very similar. I believe the offsets are a little similar, other than us moving the buildings forward towards the street line, and then everything falls in play from that. I would consider also, commission members look at the height. As Mr. Loudon said, the height restriction in the current regulations at 35 feet in our current regs is kind of restrictive for first floor commercial properties, where it's usually anywhere from minimum 12 to 16 feet. And then the subsequent floors above that is anywhere, the zone base is anywhere from 10 to 14 feet, I think ours is. And it's measured from floor to floor, top of floor to top of floor. So try to get your arms around that. I like to try to consider, when you're looking at the height, right, currently our height is 35 feet. We have the new regulations for Firelight at, I think, 42 feet for 3-story. So I would like us to consider changing the height in our regs to 42 feet, 3 stories. And then think about, if we do that, is that appropriate for Northford? Do we want 3-story buildings in the center of Northford with residential above, commercial on the bottom? If you were to envision for future development, not anything that's current on the books, how would you like the strip mall or the Giovanni's Plaza to look if you were to move that forward and make it 3 stories? Instead of it being so far back, if you were to redevelop it, move it forward and make it more of a walkable space, if we go forward with this redesign in the future development of Route 22 Forest Road through the center of town, have a beautiful new pavement structure, brand new sidewalk, beautiful trees, and we still have development to occur. Where would you like to see it? What would it look like? What would your vision be? Because this is it's what the commission envisions Northford to look like in the future, not today, but in the future. When we're not commission members anymore, how would we want future members to address any applicant that comes in front of us? Currently, applicant comes in, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, based on size and scope of our regulations, without having any concept, but we leave it up to them. This is an opportunity under this form base to capture that ourselves and say, here are the options you can build and look like this. This is kind of what this whole form-based zone code is all about, is trying to, our vision of what Northford could look like as a village, or even North Branford, right? So you take from the cemetery or the church all the way to Central Plaza. People don't like Central Plaza due to its pavement structure and its layout. What happens if someone buys that and wants to redevelop it? What do we want it to look like? Do we want him to dictate to us? Or do we want to dictate to the developer how we see that to be built? The same thing at the old Wall Field that's now potentially going to be up for sale. We want to give direction to the developer how it should look like based on the code that we are trying to develop. That's why we put it out to the public 2 months ago, 2 months ago, so they get to see it. Right? It's hard for anybody, even us as commission members, to look at it and say, what does this all mean? Well, that's someone going to build it. So that's why I asked the commission members to look at that form base a little bit closer, flip through it every once in a while, look at the pictures, see if you like the pictures. Would you like them to be 2.5 stories as the current thing? Could it be 3 stories? The height change, that kind of thing. Just kind of get your arms around what it looks like, the pictures, and see if that's what we as commission members project for the town of North Branford, basically. Our town doesn't like change. Right? This is a potential for what it could look like in the future. And I know there's town council members who also say, what's the vision in Northford? No one has it. No one has any idea. Now it's our opportunity to kind of guide the town, and this is what it could be. I know you don't like change, but it will be good. The redevelopment of all Northford will be good for traffic flow and businesses. How do we want to get more people to stop instead of just driving through? Looks beautiful. What about all the businesses along that corridor? We want them to attract them to come in to spend their money with us. So that's my spiel for 2026. So I thank you in indulging me, and I appreciate your time being here through 2025, and hopefully we have a beautiful 2026. So thank you very much, everybody. So with that being said, I'll move on to number 9, unless anyone else has anything to add.
I would like to thank Mary. It's been great, it's been great having you,
Thank you.
and, we're sorry to, we'll miss all your cookies.
Well, at least you'll have someone that's always here.
With cookies?
We'd rather have cookies.
We appreciate your time that you spent with us,
Thank
Mary.
you.
Though it was
Thanks.
limited, it still was a benefit to us to bring your new injection of ideas into the commission. We really appreciate your
Thanks for
time.
being open-minded all the time.
That's our job.
Thanks.
Very simple. Anything else, commission members?
Nope, I can promise Mary that I'll always ask about ADA and parking.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's important.
It is.
Inclusivity.
It really is.
Everyone wants to be along.
And sidewalks.
And, well, yeah.
Roundabout.
And sidewalks.
sidewalks, you get rid of roundabout.
In bike lanes.
You can't have
Yeah,
sidewalks
alright.
around the roundabout.
Right, no, sir.
All right, Ron, you want to take us out of here?
Looking across the room and seeing no one, I motion we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Second?
Second.
Up, second. Paul seconded. Sorry, just want to get out of here at what time? 8:21. Thank you all.
Thank you.